Hello students, before we start our chapter, I would like to request you all to watch our introductory 2 videos given by me so that you will be clear about the 3-step strategy to do Dhamaka in physics exams. We have given the videos in the description box, or you can just click on our videos displayed at the end of this video for either introductory 2 videos or the next videos. Okay then, let's enjoy physics by Mr. Patel, who has a long, profound experience of 29 years of teaching physics in Sainik School.
Example 7.6, solve example on to page number 251. The resistor 200 ohms, capacitor 15 microfarad and is connected to the 220 volt 50 hertz AC supply. Calculate the I current, calculate the Vrms across the R and C. We know that Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi nu C, that is 1 upon 2 into 3.14 into 50 frequency into this capacitor 15 into 10 raised to minus 6, that is equal to 212.3 ohms. In the book it is given, there is a mistake in printing, Xc is equal to 2 pi nu C is taken, but the final answer it is written is correctly, so just note it. It should be, we know that capacitor inductance is equal to 1 upon omega C and omega is 2 pi nu, so it is 2 pi nu CO. So impedance Z, that is total opposed to the AC circuit, is equal to under root R square plus Xt square. This is RC circuit, they are connected in series, not parallel. So R is 200 given square and 212.3 square, that comes about 291.5. Therefore, current I in the circuit is equal to IRMS, that is net effective current. This is Vrms and current is IRMS. Current is the same because they are in the series. So Vrms upon Z, total opposed. Vrms, that is effective voltage, is not a peak voltage, remember, it is a 220 upon 291.5 total opposed, that is equal to 0.755 ampere. Now voltage RMS across the R. What is the voltage across the R? Current is calculated, so voltage is equal to current into resistance. IRMS into R, that is 0.755 into 200, that is 151 volt. And Vrms across C, that is voltage across the 3, is IRMS into Xc, that is 0.755 into 212.3. Xc, capacitive inductance, that is equal to 160.3. So total voltage we see 160.3 and 151, that is 311.3, that is more than the source voltage. So they are not added algebraically, but they are out of phase. We know the phase is not same. His voltage across this is 151 volt and voltage across this is 160.3. But these voltages are not in the phase, correct? We know that voltage in the capacitor is lagging behind the current by 90 degree, that is pi by 2 in phase. So voltage across resistance is still in this direction, then voltage across capacitor will be lagging behind the voltage across R. Current on the capacitor will be in the same direction. If there is a voltage across the inductor, then it will be leading, they will be out of phase by 180 degree. If it is a voltage, compare between the resistor and the phase difference between the voltage across resistor and voltage across capacitor, then 90 degree phase difference. So this is the resultant voltage V across the R and C, total voltage, and that is 220. You can calculate vectorially. The algebraic sum of the voltage is 311.3, which is more than the source voltage 220 volt. These two voltages are out of phase by 90 degree pi by 2. so can be added vectorially. Then by vector addition they are at 90 degrees, so we can use the Pythagoras theorem. This square VR square plus VC square is equal to VRC square. So VRC is equal to under root VR square plus VC square, or VRC square is equal to VR square plus VC. Pythagoras theorem you know already, and that is equal to 151 square plus 160.3 square under root this square, and that is equal to 220. That is, so if we consider the phase difference, then total voltage will be equal to the source voltage. Thus, if phase difference between the two voltages is properly taken in account, the total voltage across the resistor and the capacitor is equal to the source voltage, 220. Example 7.8 on page number 253. The sinusoidal voltage of peak value 283 and 50 Hertz is applied to the LCR series circuit as this one, but there is a LCR. Here RC, there is a one more part, that is a inductors. So R is equal to 3 ohms, L is equal to 25.48 millihenry, and capacitor is 796 microfarad. Number 1, find the impedance Z. Correct. So impedance Z is equal to, we know, under root R square plus XL minus XC raised to square. You can see XC minus XL or XL minus XC. Correct. That is immaterial, and that is equal to under root 3 square 8 minus 4, that is already calculated. XL is equal to 2 pi nu L, that is 2 into pi 3.14 into new frequency 50, and inductors 25.48 millihenry, that is 25.48 into 10 raised to minus 3. Millihenry, and that is equal to 8 ohms. That comes about 8 ohms. So XL, inductive reactance opposed to the inductor, that is inductive reactance, XL is 8 ohms. So XC, that is 1 upon 2 pi nu C, that is 1 upon omega C, and omega is 2 pi nu. So 1 upon 2 pi nu C, that is equal to 1 upon 2 into 3.14 into 50 into 796 into microfarad, that is 10 raised to minus 6, that is 4 ohms. Resistance value is already given 3. So Z is equal to under root R square plus XL minus XC square, that is 3 square into bracket 8 minus 4 bracket square, and that is equal to 5. This 8 minus 4, that is 4, 4 square, that is 16, 16 plus 19, 25, square root of 25 is 5. So Z is equal to 5 ohm. Next one is the phase difference. The B is the phase difference between the voltage across the source and the current, that is 10 phi. We have to calculate. Phase difference is 10 phi is equal to this, that is phi is equal to 10 inverse XC minus XL upon R. We know that 10 phi is equal to XC minus XL, or you can say XL minus XC also. It will give you either phi plus or minus. It is immaterial. 10 inverse is equal to, so XC minus XL upon R. So phi is equal to 10 inverse 4 minus XC is 4, XL is 8, XC is 4 and XL is 8, that is 4 minus 8 upon 3, that is 4 by 3, 1.3, 10 inverse 1.3, that is minus is because this is minus, 4 minus 8 is minus 4 by 3. So it is minus, and value of the, from the log table you can find out the value of the 10 4 by 3, that is 1.3, that is 53.1 degree. Correct. The current in the circuit leaks the voltage. Correct. It says that phi is negative, that is current leaks. Next one is a C. Power dissipated, that is we know that power dissipated I square R. P is I square R, that is I, and I is equal to I maximum upon under root 2. This is IRMS. IRMS or IRMS into multiplied by 2 is equal to I maximum. So I maximum is 2, that is 1 upon under root 2, and I maximum is equal to voltage maximum upon resistance, that is 283 upon 5. This voltage already we have given we are given. So voltage upon resistance, that is Im, and upon under root 2, that is IRMS, that is 40 ampere. Power factor P is equal to I square R, that is equal to 40 square, current is 40, we have already calculated, into resistance 3 ohms, correct, that is 4800 watt. That this is 1600 multiplied by 3, that is 4800, that is, or you can write 4.8 kilowatt also. D, last, power factor. The power factor is cos phi, that is equal to cos 53.1, and that is equal to 0.6, phi is equal to 0.6. Now next question is 7.9 on page number 254. So suppose the frequency of the source in the example, say in the earlier example, can be varied. If it is varied, what is the frequency of the source at which resonance takes place? So resonance frequency, we know that omega 0 is 1 upon under root LC. So L is already given, C is already given, that is L is 25.48 millihenry, and capacitance of a capacitor is 7.96 microfarad. Therefore, omega 0 is 1 upon 25.48 into 10 raised to minus 3 millihenry, that is 10 raised to minus 3, into this microfarad, that is 796 into 10 raised to minus 6 farad. So omega 0 is equal to 222.1 radian per second. This is the angular frequency. So frequency, resonance frequency, we know that omega is equal to 2 pi nu. So nu is equal to resonance frequency is equal to omega 0 upon 2 pi. That is omega 0 is 222.1 upon 2 pi, that is 2 into 3.14, that is 35.4 hertz. Next, B. The calculate the ZIN power dissipated. So Z is equal to, we know that Z is equal to under root R square plus XL minus XC raised to square, or you can say XC minus XL, this is not a matter, that is equal to under root R square, because at resonance frequency, whether you take XC minus XL or XL minus, that is 0, because both are out of phase. Phase difference is 180 degree. So that is equal to under root R square, that is resistance value, that is 3 square, and square root of 9 is 3. Therefore, now RMS current I at resonance is IRMS is equal to VRMS upon Z. That is VRMS upon under root 2 by Z, because VRMS is equal to V maximum upon under root 2. This is maximum. So it is 283 upon under root 2 into 1 by 3, that is 66.7 ampere. The power dissipated, again the P is equal to I square R. So current is different. So here also value different, 66.7 square into 3, that is 13350 watt, or 13.35 kilowatt. Next one, 7.10. At an airport, a person is made to walk through the doorway of a metal detector for security reasons. You know, at airport there is a security check and you have to pass through that door. If she or he is carrying anything made of metal, the metal detector emits a sound. On which principle does this detector work? That is, it works on the principle of resonance. There is you are walking on a coil. There is a coil on which you are walking. This coil is tuned with the capacitor. This is a tuned circuit. Correct? This is a resonance circuit. It is in the resonance when you walk. When you walk, there is a platform. You are allowed to walk. Correct? The person is allowed to walk on this, which is he is walking on the tuned circuit. There is an inductor and capacitor. This is L and this is C. So LC circuit, and it is in the resonance. It is in the resonance. The resonance frequency omega 0 is 1 upon under root L by C. The resonance frequency is 1 upon under root LC. Remember, the current is passing support like this. When you walk with a metal or any other gold or any other metallic articles in your pocket, the current in the circuit will change. This current will change, that will give, it is connected with the electronic circuit, gives a particular sound, that is alarm, correct, and you are detected. So you will be again checked. LC oscillations, that is inductor and capacitors, this is correct, they are connected. When the charged capacitor is allowed to discharge through a non-resistive inductor, this is non-resistive inductor, that is resistance of the coil of the inductor is considered to be a 0. Electrical oscillation of constant amplitude, that is a sustained oscillation, and the frequency are produced. These oscillations are called SC oscillation, that is charge is surging, correct, to and fro, that is like this. That is electrical energy converts into magnetic and magnetic energy converts into electrical energy. We know that electrical energy is half Q square by C, and this is half Li square, correct. So when capacitor is fully charged, that is charge on this capacitor is maximum is a Qm. Figure A shows, this is the figure A, that shows the capacitor with initial charge Qm, that is at t is equal to 0 time, current is 0, but capacitor has charge maximum charge Qm and it is fully charged. And that is connected with the ideal inductor. When it is connected with the ideal inductor, what will happen? The electrical energy of the capacitor will discharge, and electrical energy stored in the capacitor, that is given by the half Qm square by C. Initially current is 0 and magnetic energy, that is UB is UE is equal to, that is electrical energy, U is the potential energy, electrostatic potential energy, E for electrostatic, that is energy of the capacitor. When current is 0, time is 0, the capacitor is fully charged, the energy is half Qm square, that is energy is UE, that is equal to half Qm square by C. Already we have studied in the electricity chapter, correct. The energy UB is 0. In the inductor, energy stored in this UB is initially 0, correct. So initially the electrical energy stored in the capacitor U is equal to half Qm square by C, and I is 0, current is 0 in the circuit, and magnetic energy in the inductor is 0. As the circuit is closed, when moment the circuit is closed, capacitor will start discharging, and energy of the electrical energy will decrease and magnetic energy will increase, and current flows in the circuit. So inductor stores the energy in the form of magnetic field energy, and capacitor's energy decreases. This is half Qm square by C decreases, whereas this increases, correct. When it is fully charged, that is time t is equal to quarter cycle t by 4, correct. Here current flows, here current 0, here current starts flowing, the electrical energy that changes into magnetic energy, and the inductor stores in the form of the magnetic energy. When it is fully discharged, the potential of the capacitor becomes 0 now. This is V is equal to 0. It is discharged totally, and all of the energy of the capacitor, electrical energy, is stored in the electrostatic magnetic potential, magnetic energy, the magnetic field energy, that is called half Li maximum square by 2. That is UB. We call it UB. This is magnetic energy, and current flows here in the same direction, correct. that is clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction, correct. After the fully discharge the capacitor, again it will, the current will, the magnetic field will decrease, correct. The flux will decrease, that will produce the current in the same direction. It will try to oppose, according to the Lenz's law, the decrease in the strength of the current, and capacitor will start charging but in the opposite direction, correct. This plate will, the lower plate was initially negatively charged, here again it will start charging positively, correct. So till it becomes the fully charged, the magnetic energy is 0 here and time is equal to half cycle, that is T by 2. The capacitor is fully charged, the energy is fully electrical energy, that is UE is equal to half Qm square by C, again the same energy, correct. That is half thus energy converts or flows to and fro from electrical energy from capacitor to the inductor, causing the surging of charges. So this time the inductor's energy is 0 and capacitor energy is half Qm square by 2. After complete charging, the capacitor is fully charged, again it starts discharging, correct. But this time it starts after half cycle, current will flow in the opposite direction, that is clockwise direction. Here it flows anti-clockwise direction, correct. Here no current is 0 because inductor magnetic energy has been converted into electrical energy. A part of the electrical energy of the capacitor gets stored in the inductor in the form of magnetic energy, UB is equal to half Li square. At time t is equal to T by 4, the capacitor gets fully discharged, the figure C, as we have already discussed, and potential difference across its plates becomes 0. The current remains the maximum value Im. The energy stored in the inductor in the form of magnetic field is given by UB is equal to half Lim square, as we have already discussed. Thus, the entire whole energy, that is entire electrostatic energy of the capacitor has been converted into the magnetic field energy, that is magnetic field increases when electric energy decreases of the inductor. After this, the magnetic flux linked with the inductor decreases and inducing a current in the same direction, that is it opposes the decrease in the current according to Lenz's law. So it will flow in the same direction, that is figure D, as we have already discussed, and charges the capacitor in the opposite direction. The magnetic energy of the inductor change into the again electrostatic energy. This continues till the capacitor is fully charged. At the time t is equal to T by 2 half cycle, as this also we have discussed, figure E. Thus, the entire energy is again stored as the U is equal to electrical energy, that half Qm square by 2 in the electric field of the capacitor. The capacitor begins to discharge. When it is fully charged, again it starts discharging, again sending the current in the opposite direction. The energy once again transferred to the magnetic field energy of the inductor, correct. Thus, the process repeats in the opposite direction, figure G and H. The circuit eventually returns to the initial stage, that is A after that. Thus, the energy of the system surges back and forth between the electric field of the capacitor and the magnetic field of the inductor. That is, energy surges back and forth between the electric field energy of the capacitor and the magnetic field energy of the inductor, that is L and C. If there is no loss of energy, the amplitude of the oscillation remains the constant. If there is no loss of energy, such oscillation are called the undamped oscillation. This is a figure of the waveform of the undamped oscillation. That amplitude remains, this is amplitude and this is the time axis, correct. So, amplitude becomes the constant, this remains the constant, correct. So, this is the amplitude maximum disturbance, this is called the amplitude A, this is amplitude A, this remains the constant. If there is no loss of energy, actually there is a loss of energy because there is no pure inductor, we consider it as an ideal inductor, then only we assume that, but it is made of a copper coil and it has some resistance, there is a loss of energy due to heat, Joule's heat we call it. These are the damped oscillation. The amplitude goes on decreasing and dies out. This is damped oscillation. However, the LC oscillations are usually damped due to the following two reasons. Every inductor has some resistance, causes energy loss as heat, as we have already discussed. The amplitude of oscillation goes on decreasing and the oscillation finally dies out. Number 2, even if the resistance were 0, it is ideal inductor, the total energy of the system will not remain the constant. Energy is radiated in the form of electromagnetic waves according to James Clerk Maxwell theory of electromagnetic waves. He gave the theory of electromagnetic waves, and the accelerating charged particle radiates the energy in the form of electromagnetic waves. That is, electromagnetic waves are the waves produced due to the accelerating charges, and here in the oscillations, this charge is surging, that is oscillating charge. Current is oscillating, and energy is also oscillating between the C capacitor and the inductor. That we already know that if there is a charged particle, stationary charged particle, it is only associated with the electric field. It has only E field, not any other field. If charges are in motion, for an example electric current, or suppose electron is moving with a velocity, constant velocity, V is constant, then it has electric field and magnetic field, but these are not time varying magnetic field. But if it is accelerating with the acceleration A, then it has a time varying electric field, and that will produce a time varying magnetic field and produces, that is called the electromagnetic waves. The electric field and the magnetic field, they are at right angle. This is along the y axis, say this is along the z axis, this is E field, see this is B field, then this is the direction of propagation of waves, and these are oscillating electric field and magnetic field, correct? So, they are like this. See, this is electric field, this is electric field. In this part there will be magnetic field. It oscillates, changes after half rotation. So, these are the waves, electromagnetic waves we will study in the next chapter, were first produced by the scientist Hertz. In 1885, the Indian National Congress was, when the Indian National Congress was formed, correct. Later on, the Jagdish Chandra Bose in Calcutta, Indian scientist, he produced the electromagnetic waves of short wavelength 5 millimeter to 25 millimeter. Then after Guglielmo Marconi of Italy followed the Hertz experiment, and he succeeded in transmitting the waves, electromagnetic waves for many kilometers, and then after he invented the radio. Who invented radio? That is, answer is Guglielmo Marconi, correct. Thus, even if the resistance were 0, the total energy of the system would not remain constant, because an accelerating charged particle that radiates the energy in the form of electromagnetic waves, according to Maxwell electromagnetic wave theory, James Clerk's Maxwell theory. An accelerating charge radiates electromagnetic waves, and that is the working principle of TV and radio transmitter. The waves from the radio stations are transmitted in the form of electromagnetic waves by this oscillator circuit, in which charges they are oscillating from L to C. The capacitor and the inductors are used in this circuit. The circuit is called the oscillator.